Procrastination is more than just a bad habit or a lack of willpower. It's a complex psychological phenomenon that many of us experience at some point in our lives. To fully grasp this intricate behavior, we must first understand what procrastination truly means. According to research, procrastination is defined as the intentional delay of starting or completing a task despite knowing that this delay may have negative consequences. This realization is crucial because it highlights a fundamental aspect of human nature, the struggle between our immediate desires and our long-term goals. When we think about procrastination, it's easy to view it as a simple matter of time management. However, studies have shown that the roots of procrastination often lie in emotional factors such as fear, anxiety, and perfectionism. One study published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences found that chronic procrastinators often struggle with low self-esteem and high levels of anxiety, leading to a cycle of avoidance. For instance, consider the story of Lisa, a graduate student who found herself consistently delaying her thesis work. Despite being passionate about her subject, Lisa faced overwhelming perfectionistic standards. The fear of not achieving her ideal outcome led her to avoid working on her thesis altogether. This pattern of avoidance is not uncommon, as many individuals find themselves entrapped by their own high expectations. We often judge ourselves harshly for procrastinating. However, it's essential to recognize that procrastination is not merely a result of laziness, it can be a protective mechanism employed by the mind. Psychologist Tim Pychyl states that procrastination is linked to emotional regulation. When we procrastinate, we might find temporary relief from unpleasant emotions associated with that task. However, this relief is short-lived, as the consequences of procrastination can lead to greater stress and anxiety in the long run. Research from Dr. Joseph Ferrari, a psychology professor at DePaul University, reveals that roughly 20% of adults identify themselves as chronic procrastinators. This statistic underscores the significance of procrastination as a widespread issue. What is even more intriguing is that procrastination crosses all demographics, age, culture, and education level. As we dive deeper into this topic, we must examine various forms of procrastination. There are two primary types: passive procrastination, which involves indecisiveness and the inability to make choices promptly, and active procrastination, where individuals deliberately delay tasks to create a sense of urgency. Interestingly, some people may thrive under pressure, viewing procrastination as a strategic maneuver to optimize their performance. However, the question remains, how do we break free from the detrimental cycle of procrastination? Understanding the why behind our procrastination is the first step towards finding solutions. It is essential to confront the emotional underpinnings that drive us to procrastinate. In the following chapters, we will explore actionable strategies and real-life anecdotes that will illuminate the path to overcoming this pervasive challenge. But first, we must delve into the roots of our fears and insecurities that manifest as procrastination. In our exploration of procrastination, one of the most significant contributors to this behavior is fear. Fear manifests in various forms, including the fear of failure, fear of success, and even fear of the unknown. Understanding how these fears interplay with our productivity can provide invaluable insights for those looking to overcome procrastination. To illustrate this point, let's revisit Lisa's story. As she grappled with her thesis, her fear of failure loomed large. The thought of submitting an imperfect piece of work paralyzed her creativity. Instead of putting pen to paper, she chose to scroll through social media or binge-watch her favorite shows. This behavior is often a form of self-sabotage, whereby our fear dictates our actions, leading to avoidance. This connection between fear and procrastination is not a mere coincidence. According to a study published in the journal Cognitive Therapy and Research, individuals who fear failure are more likely to procrastinate, as they avoid tasks that may expose them to potential judgment or criticism. But the irony is that procrastination often exacerbates these fears, creating a vicious cycle. Moreover, fear of success can be just as paralyzing. It may sound counterintuitive, but the idea of achieving a goal can induce anxiety in some individuals, leading them to sabotage their efforts. This phenomenon can be traced back to the concept of imposter syndrome, where successful individuals feel like frauds. They may fear that their success will be short-lived or that others will expect even more from them in the future, leading them to procrastinate to avoid these expectations. So how can we combat these fears? One effective strategy is to reframe our perspective on failure. Instead of viewing failure as a final destination, we can see it as a stepping stone towards growth and learning. Embracing the idea that every setback is an opportunity for improvement can help reduce the paralyzing effects of fear. Additionally, seeking support from peers, mentors, or therapists can provide a crucial safety net, allowing individuals to confront their fears instead of avoiding them. The power of community cannot be underestimated in this journey. Sharing our fears and struggles with others can help normalize these feelings and diminish their hold over us. In the end, acknowledging our fears is a vital step towards conquering procrastination. As we progress, we will explore further techniques to foster a productive mindset and cultivate resilience against procrastination. But first, let's take a moment to recognize the societal pressures that can contribute to our procrastination habits. Societal pressures play a pivotal role in shaping our attitudes towards productivity and procrastination. From a young age, we are bombarded with messages that emphasize achievement and success. While these messages can motivate us to work hard, they can also overwhelm us, contributing to feelings of inadequacy and, ultimately, procrastination. Let's take the example of John, a young professional navigating the demanding corporate world. John is constantly comparing himself to his colleagues, feeling the pressure to outperform everyone else. This relentless drive for perfection leads him to procrastinate on important projects, as he fears not living up to his own expectations or those set by others. The irony is that the pressure to be perfect often leads to the very outcomes we fear: lower productivity and increased stress. Research has shown that individuals exposed to high levels of societal pressure are more likely to experience anxiety and procrastination. A study from the American Psychological Association found that young adults today face unprecedented levels of stress and anxiety, leading to negative impacts on their mental health and productivity. This phenomenon is particularly evident in the era of social media, where the highlight reels of others can become a constant source of comparison. Social media creates an environment where perfection seems attainable, yet it remains elusive. We see curated images of success and happiness, which can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt when we scroll through our feeds. This constant comparison can lead to paralysis by analysis, where individuals overthink their choices and ultimately delay taking action. The pressure to conform to unrealistic standards can prevent us from embracing our unique paths and achievements. So how can we rise above these societal pressures? One effective approach is to cultivate self-compassion. Instead of being our harshest critics, we can practice kindness towards ourselves during times of struggle. Self-compassion encourages us to acknowledge our imperfections and recognize that everyone experiences setbacks. This mindset can foster resilience and reduce the need to procrastinate, as we learn to embrace progress over perfection. Moreover, setting realistic expectations for ourselves is crucial in countering societal pressures. Embracing the idea that it's okay to fall short of perfection can liberate us from the shackles of procrastination. By focusing on incremental progress and celebrating small victories, we can shift our focus from the overwhelming burden of expectations to the joy of growth. As we continue, let's transition to recognizing the importance of effective time management in overcoming procrastination. Effective time management is a cornerstone in the battle against procrastination. When we learn to organize our time effectively, we can reduce stress and enhance our productivity. In this chapter, we will explore practical strategies that can empower individuals to reclaim their time and conquer procrastination. One of the most effective time management techniques is the Pomodoro technique, developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. This method involves breaking work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes long, followed by a short break. After completing 4 intervals, a longer break is taken. This technique has been shown to improve focus and reduce burnout, making tasks feel more manageable. For instance, Sarah, a busy freelancer, found herself easily distracted while working from home. By adopting the Pomodoro technique, she was able to concentrate her efforts into short bursts, leading to a significant increase in her output. Another effective strategy is the Eisenhower matrix, which helps individuals prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance. This method involves dividing tasks into 4 categories: urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent but not important, and neither urgent nor important. By categorizing tasks, individuals can focus on what truly matters and minimize the tendency to procrastinate on less critical activities. For example, a student preparing for exams can use this matrix to identify which subjects require immediate attention and which can wait, ultimately enhancing study efficiency. Furthermore, setting specific goals can significantly improve time management. Research from the Dominican University of California found that individuals who set specific and measurable goals are more likely to achieve them compared to those who set vague objectives. This approach encourages individuals to break down larger tasks into smaller, actionable steps. Another vital aspect of effective time management is recognizing and removing distractions. In our hyper-connected world, distractions abound, from notifications and social media to environmental noise. Creating a dedicated workspace can foster a more productive environment. Additionally, utilizing tools like website blockers can help minimize digital distractions, ensuring that individuals stay on track. As we delve deeper into time management, it's essential to remember that flexibility is also key. Life is unpredictable, and our plans may evolve. Allowing for adjustments and acknowledging that setbacks are a natural part of the process can help reduce procrastination. By mastering time management techniques, individuals can empower themselves to overcome procrastination and achieve their goals. As we transition into our next chapter, we will explore the role of mindset and self-talk in this journey of productivity. Mindset plays a crucial role in our ability to overcome procrastination. The way we think about our tasks and ourselves can either propel us forward or hold us back. In this chapter, we will delve into the importance of fostering a growth mindset and utilizing positive self-talk as powerful tools in combating procrastination. The concept of a growth mindset, developed by psychologist Carol Dweck, posits that individuals who believe their abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work are more likely to achieve success. This mindset contrasts with a fixed mindset, where individuals believe their abilities are static, leading to avoidance of challenges. When faced with a daunting task, those with a fixed mindset are more likely to procrastinate, fearing failure. Conversely, individuals with a growth mindset embrace challenges as opportunities for learning. To illustrate this, let's consider the case of Tom, a software developer who struggled with procrastination due to a fear of failing his projects. Upon learning about the growth mindset, Tom shifted his perspective. He began to view each project as a chance to learn and grow, rather than an opportunity to showcase his perfection. This newfound outlook not only enhanced his motivation but also reduced his procrastination significantly. Positive self-talk is another effective strategy to combat procrastination. Our internal dialogue shapes how we perceive challenges and ourselves. Instead of succumbing to negative thoughts like "I'll never be able to finish this," we can reframe our self-talk to be more encouraging. Saying, "I'll tackle this one step at a time," instills a sense of control over our actions. Research has shown that positive affirmations can significantly boost self-esteem and reduce anxiety, which are critical factors in managing procrastination. By practicing affirmations regularly, individuals can build resilience against the fears that often trigger procrastination. Moreover, visualization techniques can also support a positive mindset. Visualizing the completion of tasks and the relief that follows can create a compelling image that motivates individuals to take action. As we wrap up this chapter on mindset, it's clear that transforming our thinking patterns is vital in our journey to overcome procrastination. By fostering a growth mindset and engaging in positive self-talk, we can dismantle the barriers that hold us back from reaching our full potential. In our next chapter, we will examine practical techniques for maintaining motivation in the long run and how we can create sustainable habits that support our goals. But first, let's reflect on how far we've come in understanding the complexities of procrastination. Every day, we are made up of countless habits, many of which we don't even think about. But what if we told you that by understanding and leveraging the power of these habits, we can significantly reduce procrastination? In this chapter, we'll explore how habits form, how they can be changed, and the profound impact they have on our ability to take action. According to research published in the European Journal of Social Psychology, on average, it takes about 66 days to form a new habit. This is an important insight because it shows us that change isn't just an overnight phenomenon, it takes time and commitment. Therefore, knowing this, how can we systematically build new habits that combat procrastination? One effective method is the cue routine reward cycle proposed by Charles Duhigg, author of The Power of Habit. Think of it this way: your cue is a trigger that initiates the habit, the routine is the behavior you engage in, and the reward is what you gain from completing that behavior. Let's break this down further. Cue. Identifying what triggers your procrastination is the first step. It could be staring at a blank screen or feeling overwhelmed by a task. Recognizing these cues can help you navigate through them. Routine. Instead of succumbing to procrastination, create a routine that redirects your focus. For instance, if a cue is your phone buzzing, your routine could be silencing it and starting with a 5-minute focused work session. Reward. After the small success, treat yourself. This could mean enjoying a piece of chocolate, taking a brief walk, or just checking social media. Reinforcing this new behavior with rewards encourages your brain to repeat the cycle. Let's look at a real-world example. A young university student named Sarah struggled with her thesis for months. She recognized that her cue was sitting down at her desk for long hours, which often led to distraction. By restructuring her environment and breaking down her work into smaller, manageable tasks, she was able to change her routine. She set a timer for 25 minutes, called it the Pomodoro technique, and after each session, she rewarded herself with a break to watch a funny video. Within a few weeks, she noticed a significant drop in her hesitation to begin writing. But habits aren't just about individual actions, they also create a broader context for our lives. The more positive habits we cultivate, the more momentum we have to overcome procrastination. According to a study conducted by the American Psychological Association, people who maintain a fixed set of daily habits report higher levels of productivity and satisfaction. As we navigate this journey of habit formation, it's crucial to remember that failure is part of the process. You may slip into procrastination again, and that's okay. What matters is how you respond to that slip. Instead of giving in to self-judgment, treat it as a learning opportunity to tweak your cues and routines. With a consistent effort towards aligning habits with your goals, procrastination can become less of a hurdle and more of a challenge to overcome. As we wrap up this chapter, consider a habit you wish to cultivate, perhaps starting a daily writing routine or a commitment to exercise. What can your cues, routines, and rewards look like? The transformative power of habits is within your reach, waiting to be harnessed. But what comes next? Let's explore it in our next chapter as we dissect the role of accountability in overcoming procrastination. Procrastination can often thrive in silence. The more we hide our goals, the easier it is to delay taking action. In this chapter, we will delve into the powerful force of accountability, exploring how sharing your goals can significantly bolster your motivation and reduce procrastination. Research shows that people who publicly commit to their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them. A study conducted by the Dominican University of California revealed that participants who shared their goals with friends or colleagues had a 33% higher success rate. Simply put, telling someone about your goals creates an implicit contract, making it more challenging to procrastinate without disappointing that person. Think about it, when you make a public commitment, you not only have someone to encourage you, but you also have a sense of obligation to follow through. This is the essence of accountability. It acts like a safety net that can catch you when you consider falling back into procrastination. Consider the story of a tech startup founder, Mark. Mark had a brilliant idea but found himself procrastinating on developing his product. He decided to form a small accountability group with fellow entrepreneurs. They met weekly to discuss their progress and hurdles. Every time Mark shared his struggles, he felt the pressure to show up for the next meeting prepared. This dynamic not only kept him on track but also provided valuable feedback and encouragement from his peers. During these sessions, Mark also learned something crucial: he wasn't alone. The shared experience helped him realize that many of his peers faced similar struggles with procrastination. This collective journey not only bolstered his resilience but also spurred creativity and problem-solving among the group. But it doesn't have to be a formal setting to be effective. You can find accountability in many places: friends, family, colleagues, or even social media groups. The key is to find someone who will support your journey, someone who won't let you off the hook so easily. You could even use mobile applications that allow you to share your goals and progress, such as Stick or Beeminder. However, it's essential to select the right accountability partner. Research from the Journal of Business and Psychology suggests that an accountability partner should be someone who is supportive, yet honest. They should push you when needed but also provide understanding during challenging times. Setting clear expectations with your partner can make a world of difference in your accountability arrangement. It needs to be a two-way street. You should feel comfortable doing the same for them. As we conclude this chapter, think about your own goals. Who in your life could become a powerful accountability partner? Remember, the act of sharing your endeavors not only keeps you on track but also builds a supportive community around your goals. In our next chapter, we will explore the role of self-discipline in long-term procrastination management. How does cultivating self-discipline contribute to overcoming procrastination? Let's find out. Self-discipline is a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. In this chapter, we will explore the importance of self-discipline in overcoming procrastination and how to develop it effectively. Self-discipline often gets a bad rap. It's seen as a rigid concept, something that stifles creativity and spontaneity. But when understood correctly, it becomes a powerful ally in maintaining focus and achieving goals. Research indicates that individuals with higher self-discipline tend to experience better life outcomes, including higher academic performance, better physical health, and greater financial stability. According to a study by the University of Pennsylvania, self-discipline is a greater predictor of academic success than IQ. This finding underscores the essence of self-discipline in achieving our objectives, particularly when we are bored or distracted. So how do we cultivate this essential quality? Here are several techniques. 1. Set clear goals. Without clarity, self-discipline can easily wane. It's crucial to define specific, measurable, and attainable goals. A general goal like "I want to be healthier" lacks focus, while "I will exercise for 30 minutes, 3 times a week" is concrete. 2. Create routines. Building a daily routine can drastically improve self-discipline. When activities become habitual, they require less cognitive effort to execute. Starting your day with a morning routine, for instance, sets a productive tone. 3. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness practices, such as meditation, can enhance self-discipline by increasing awareness of thoughts and feelings. Research from the Journal of Psychological Science has shown that mindfulness training can improve self-control and reduce procrastination. 4. Reward yourself. Just as with habit formation, rewarding yourself for self-discipline fosters a positive feedback loop. Give yourself permission to enjoy small pleasures after completing tasks. Let's take a closer look at a powerful case study, Angela, a writer who struggled with procrastination. She often found herself scrolling through social media instead of focusing on her deadlines. When she turned to mindfulness practices and set rigid writing routines, she was able to channel her energy more effectively. Over time, her self-discipline became stronger, allowing her to produce high-quality work consistently. But this journey is not without challenges. One common misconception is that self-discipline means denying yourself pleasure. In reality, it's about finding a balance between immediate desires and long-term goals. Recognizing that both are important can help develop a healthier relationship with self-discipline, which, in turn, can help combat procrastination. As we conclude this chapter, take some time to reflect on your self-discipline. What small actions can you integrate into your daily life to strengthen this muscle? The journey toward effective self-discipline is a marathon, not a sprint. In our next chapter, we will explore the long-term strategies for maintaining progress towards overcoming procrastination, ensuring that this newfound discipline becomes a lasting part of your life. So far, we have explored various facets of procrastination and actionable steps to overcome it. However, the key to long-term success lies in building sustainable strategies that promote continued progress. In this chapter, we'll discuss how to create a robust framework that helps you maintain focus and productivity over time. First and foremost, regular reflection is crucial. Taking time to review your goals, progress, and obstacles allows for course correction and fine-tuning of your strategies. According to Harvard Business Review, leaders who take the time to reflect are 40% more likely to achieve their objectives. Consider setting aside a weekly time block dedicated to this reflection. Ask yourself, what went well this week? What challenges did I encounter? How can I improve moving forward? Documenting these reflections creates a roadmap and informs your future strategies. Next, embrace a growth mindset. A growth mindset, as popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, focuses on viewing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. This shift in perspective fosters resilience and motivates you to push through procrastination. It's essential to remind yourself that failures and setbacks are merely stepping stones to success. Incorporating positive affirmations can reinforce this mindset. Moreover, integrating periods of rest and recovery into your strategy is vital. Continuous work without breaks can lead to burnout, ultimately exacerbating procrastination. Incorporating short breaks into your work routine, often referred to as the Pomodoro technique, will allow your mind to reset and improve focus when you return to tasks. Remember, rest is not a sign of laziness, it's an essential part of sustained productivity. Additionally, understanding your peak productivity times can optimize your daily schedule. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Noticing when you're at your best can guide you in tackling the most challenging tasks during those hours. This alignment can drastically reduce the temptation to procrastinate. Now let's take a case study of John, a seasoned professional who struggled with procrastination at work. After implementing a weekly reflection practice and taking regular breaks, he noticed a remarkable improvement in his productivity. He also adopted a growth mindset, which allowed him to view mistakes as learning opportunities, thereby reducing the fear of failure that often stops us from starting tasks. As a result, John not only accomplished his work projects but found a renewed sense of satisfaction in his career. The journey of building long-term strategies is continuous. It requires consistent effort and adaptation as you grow and change. Understanding that this process is fluid creates flexibility, enabling you to embrace new techniques and strategies effectively. As we conclude this chapter, reflect on the strategies you're currently using and identify how they can be improved or adapted. In our final chapter, we'll tie all these concepts together and provide a powerful roadmap to ensure overcoming procrastination becomes a permanent part of your life. We've journeyed through understanding procrastination, uncovering the underlying fears, societal pressures, and practical strategies for overcoming it. But now, it's time to synthesize all that we've learned to create a personalized roadmap for lasting change. This final chapter will empower you to take actionable steps towards overcoming procrastination effectively. Start by revisiting your goals. Clearly define what success looks like for you, both short-term and long-term. Consider breaking these down into actionable steps that create a pathway towards achievement. Writing them out and revisiting them regularly can keep you motivated and focused. Next, reflect on the habits and routines discussed. Identify which habits will be most beneficial in supporting your goals. Create a list of daily and weekly routines that incorporate these new habits, ensuring they align with your broader objectives. Consistency is key. Commit to these routines even when motivation wanes. Accountability plays a pivotal role here. Establish check-in points with your accountability partners or groups. Set specific dates to review progress, discuss challenges, and celebrate successes. This creates a community of support that will bolster persistence. Also, continually evaluate your self-discipline. Acknowledge your achievements, no matter how minor, and reward yourself. This reinforces positive behavior and encourages continued growth. Celebrate milestones along your journey, whether it's completing a project or maintaining a new habit for a month. One powerful technique you might consider is visualization. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself successfully completing tasks, feeling the satisfaction that comes with achievement. Research shows that visualization can significantly enhance motivation and performance, further bolstering your ability to overcome procrastination. As you move forward, be prepared for setbacks. It's natural to encounter obstacles. What matters is how you respond to them. Approach challenges with a growth mindset, viewing them as opportunities to learn and adapt your strategies. Remember, resilience is essential on this journey. Lastly, reflect on your overarching narrative. Your journey in overcoming procrastination is not just about productivity, it's about personal growth, self-awareness, and fulfillment. Embrace the lessons learned and continue to challenge yourself as you craft your unique roadmap to lasting change. To close, envision your future self, free from procrastination, living a life aligned with your goals and values. With the knowledge and tools you now possess, this vision is not only possible but achievable. As you embark on this journey, remember that progress is a marathon, not a sprint, and every step you take counts. The power to change your habits, your mindset, and ultimately your life lies within your hands. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of overcoming procrastination, and may this journey lead you to your best self. Imagine this. You have a looming deadline, an important project that requires your attention, yet instead of diving into it, you find yourself scrolling through social media or binge-watching your favorite show. Why does this happen? It's a question that has puzzled psychologists and neuroscientists alike. Understanding the science behind procrastination can shed light on our behaviors and help us forge pathways to success. Research indicates that procrastination is not simply a matter of laziness or poor time management. In fact, it's deeply rooted in our brain's architecture. The human brain is divided into two main parts, the limbic system and the prefrontal cortex. The limbic system is responsible for our emotions and impulsive actions, while the prefrontal cortex handles complex decision-making and self-control. When faced with a task that feels daunting, our limbic system often takes over, steering us towards instant gratification and away from stressful tasks. One compelling study by Dr. Piers Steel, a leading researcher on procrastination, reveals that the brain's reward system is heavily involved in this dance. When we check off small tasks, such as scrolling through Instagram, we receive a dopamine boost, a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure. This immediate gratification often outweighs the long-term rewards of completing a larger task. Consider Maria, a marketing executive who struggled with procrastination for years. Her professional life was riddled with unfinished reports and missed deadlines. After breaking down her workload into smaller, manageable tasks, she discovered that completing these smaller items released just enough dopamine to balance her brain's reward system. The key was to avoid the overwhelming feeling of tackling everything at once. Moreover, research from the University of Calgary found that individuals who procrastinate tend to have more activity in the limbic system than those who don't. This finding suggests that our emotional response to tasks can significantly influence our propensity to delay them. It also implies that developing emotional awareness and regulation can be crucial in combating procrastination. As we explore the neuroscience behind procrastination, it's essential to understand the role of emotions. For instance, fear of failure or perfectionism can paralyze our ability to start. This paralysis often leads us to delay tasks that we feel are critical, creating a vicious cycle of anxiety and avoidance. This paradox of choice, the idea that having too many options can lead to paralysis, plays a significant role in how we approach tasks. Take the case of Michael, a college student who avoided studying for his finals. Faced with multiple subjects, he succumbed to the paralysis of choice, unable to choose where to begin. It wasn't until he focused on just one topic at a time that he could break the cycle of procrastination. By simplifying his choices, he lowered his anxiety levels and improved his productivity. Understanding the intricate relationship between our brain's wiring, emotional responses, and task avoidance is crucial for anyone seeking to overcome procrastination. Armed with this knowledge, we can start implementing strategies that cater to our brain's needs, leveraging our understanding of neuroscience to foster productive habits and curb procrastination. But how do we effectively harness this knowledge to change our habits? Stay tuned as we delve into practical neuroscience-based strategies that can help rewire your brain and pave the way for sustained productivity. Procrastination isn't just a habit, it's often a manifestation of deeper emotional struggles. Recognizing this layer can be the first step toward meaningful change. Each time we delay a task, it serves as a signal, a potential clue into our emotional landscape. What is it that's really holding us back? Fear, anxiety, or perhaps a lack of self-worth? Let's explore the emotional side of procrastination. Research from the American Psychological Association indicates that procrastination is often linked to feelings of anxiety, self-doubt, and even depression. But why? When faced with tasks, especially those that require significant effort or that are laden with expectations, our internal dialogue can spiral out of control. Consider Laura, who had a great job opportunity but found herself unable to prepare for the interview. Instead of focusing on her qualifications, she became paralyzed by thoughts of inadequacy. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? These questions echoed in her mind, fueling her procrastination even further. Some experts suggest that this internal resistance is not just a hindrance but can serve as a protective mechanism against the discomfort of potential failure. One study published in the journal Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin revealed that individuals who procrastinate tend to engage in negative self-talk. This not only reinforces their procrastination but also affects their overall mental health. The more they delay, the more they ruminate, creating a vicious cycle of avoidance. For many, confronting emotions is challenging. Here's where emotional intelligence comes into play. Developing emotional awareness allows individuals to identify their feelings and understand how these feelings affect their actions. This awareness can be a powerful tool in combating procrastination. Imagine if Laura, instead of dwelling on her fears, recognized her feelings of inadequacy as a natural response to pressure. By acknowledging her emotions, she could begin to reframe her thoughts, transforming "what if I fail" into "what can I learn?" Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, techniques can be particularly useful in this regard, helping individuals recognize and challenge their negative thoughts and beliefs, thus promoting action rather than avoidance. Many people fear judgment from others when it comes to their procrastination habits. This social anxiety can further exacerbate feelings of self-doubt. A survey by the University of Vermont found that 35% of students reported that fear of negative evaluation was a significant factor in their procrastination. In a world filled with social media and comparison, it's no wonder that many of us feel inadequate. To combat this, community support can be invaluable. Sharing experiences with others can reduce feelings of isolation and help individuals realize they are not alone in their struggles. Additionally, finding a mentor or an accountability partner can provide the encouragement needed to face tasks instead of avoiding them. As we unpack our emotions, we begin to dismantle the barriers that procrastination erects. But understanding emotions is only part of the solution. How do we begin to turn this emotional awareness into actionable steps? Join us as we explore practical techniques to transform these emotional insights into a proactive strategy for change. In a world filled with distractions, embracing mindfulness can serve as a beacon of clarity and focus. Mindfulness isn't just a buzzword, it's a transformative practice that can help individuals combat the tendencies toward procrastination. But how exactly can mindfulness lead us away from avoidance and toward action? Mindfulness encourages us to remain present, to engage fully with the moment rather than getting lost in thoughts of past failures or future fears. Research shows that mindfulness practices can reduce stress, enhance focus, and increase emotional regulation. A study published in the Journal of Experimental Psychology found that participants who practiced mindfulness demonstrated a significant decrease in procrastination behaviors compared to those who did not. Take Raj, a software developer who found himself constantly delaying project deadlines. Overwhelmed by the complexity of code and the looming timelines, he decided to incorporate mindfulness techniques into his daily routine. Each morning, he dedicated just 10 minutes to mindfulness meditation, focusing on his breath and bringing his thoughts back to the present whenever distractions arose. The results were striking. Not only did he manage to complete his projects on time, but he also noticed a decrease in overall anxiety levels. Practicing mindfulness helps us recognize our thoughts and feelings without judgment. When we notice ourselves slipping into procrastination, mindfulness allows us to pause, reflect, and choose a different course of action. This is particularly important when we confront tasks that make us uneasy. Instead of avoiding discomfort, mindfulness teaches us to acknowledge it and even embrace it as part of the process. In another case, we can look at Sarah, a writer who often felt overwhelmed by the pressure to produce perfect work. Each time she sat down to write, her thoughts spiraled into self-doubt. However, through mindfulness, she learned to observe her thoughts without being consumed by them. Each time she felt the urge to procrastinate, she would remind herself, "This is just a thought, it doesn't define my ability." Mindfulness can also facilitate the implementation of time management techniques. For instance, the Pomodoro technique combines focused work periods with brief mindfulness breaks, promoting both productivity and a healthy mental state. When we take breaks mindfully, we give ourselves permission to recharge, making it easier to return to tasks with renewed energy and focus. But integrating mindfulness into daily life is not always straightforward. It requires consistent effort and practice. Initial resistance may arise as we confront our habitual tendencies. It's essential to have compassion for ourselves during this process. Just as we wouldn't harshly judge a friend learning a new skill, we must extend the same kindness to ourselves. Progress takes time. In our next segment, we'll explore how to implement mindfulness in everyday tasks, further embedding this practice into our lives. Stay tuned to discover actionable steps towards mindfulness-based productivity that can shatter the chains of procrastination and lead to a more fulfilling life. Imagine standing before a mountain of work, and instead of climbing it, you find yourself staring at your phone, scrolling through social media. Why is it that we often choose distractions over productivity? Neuroscience provides fascinating insights into this often perplexing phenomenon called procrastination. Studies reveal that procrastination is not merely a matter of poor time management or laziness, It is deeply rooted in the way our brain operates. When faced with a task, our brain subconsciously weighs the emotional and psychological costs associated with it. Research by Dr. Piers Steele, a leading figure in the field of procrastination studies, found that up to 20% of people regularly procrastinate. That's a staggering number, indicating that procrastination is a common struggle that transcends age, profession, and background. At the core of procrastination lies the amygdala, the part of our brain responsible for processing emotions. When you think about starting a task that seems daunting, the amygdala can trigger feelings of anxiety and fear. This response often leads to avoidance behaviors, compelling us to seek out lower-stakes activities like watching TV or scrolling through our phones. The prefrontal cortex, which governs decision-making, often finds itself in a continuous battle with the amygdala. Consider the story of Darlene, a graduate student who was extremely talented but struggled with completing her thesis. Despite her intelligence, Darlene continually postponed writing, haunted by a fear of inadequacy. Each time she sat down to work, her amygdala reacted negatively, and instead of engaging with her project, she opted to binge-watch her favorite series. It wasn't until she understood these brain mechanics that she could begin to confront her anxiety and transform her behavior. Additionally, research shows that dopamine, often referred to as the feel-good neurotransmitter, plays a crucial role in our decision-making processes. When we choose to delay work for instant gratification, like checking social media, we receive a hit of dopamine, reinforcing the cycle of procrastination. This creates a feedback loop where the more we procrastinate, the more we crave that quick reward, making it even harder to break free. One effective technique to combat this neurological challenge is to break large tasks into smaller, manageable segments. This approach can decrease the fear response as each small task feels less daunting. Research by psychologists has shown that the act of starting, no matter how small, can create a positive cycle that triggers the release of dopamine as we achieve each mini-goal, gradually replacing procrastination with action. Moreover, new studies emphasize the importance of self-compassion in overcoming procrastination. According to Dr. Kristin Neff, practicing self-kindness can ease the harsh self-criticism that often exacerbates procrastination. By recognizing that everyone experiences setbacks, individuals can learn to approach their work from a place of understanding rather than fear. As we learn more about the brain's role in procrastination, it becomes evident that understanding the science behind our struggles can empower us to take charge of our behavior. Like Darlene, many can harness this knowledge to create actionable strategies for overcoming procrastination. So as you move forward, remember that the battle against procrastination is not merely a personal fail but a complex interplay of neuroscience. Each small step you take toward understanding and addressing this challenge brings you closer to your best self. What strategies will you adopt to overcome your own procrastination? Procrastination is often dismissed as a mere behavioral issue, but what if I told you that it is deeply emotional? Our tendency to put things off is often a manifestation of our inner resistance, and understanding this emotional landscape is crucial for overcoming it. At the heart of procrastination lies a complex web of emotions, including fear, anxiety, and even shame. One of the most common emotional triggers is the fear of failure. Consider the case of James, a freelance writer who found himself struggling to submit his articles on time. Each time a deadline approached, the fear of receiving negative feedback would paralyze him. Instead of facing that fear head-on, James would delay his work, engulfed in a cycle of anxiety that only compounded with time. Emotions like self-doubt can also play a significant role in procrastination. When we doubt our abilities, we are less likely to take action. This is evidenced by a study conducted by Dr. Tim Pychyl, which found that individuals who procrastinate often experience higher levels of negative emotions than those who do not. Instead of seeing the task as a challenge, they view it as a reinforcement of their insecurities. But why do we allow ourselves to be ruled by these emotions? The truth is that our brains are wired to avoid discomfort. When faced with a daunting task that triggers anxiety, our instinct is to retreat into comfort, which often means procrastinating. This avoidance behavior can provide temporary relief, but it ultimately leads to greater stress and emotional turmoil. To break free from this emotional cycle, it is essential to confront our feelings head-on. Acknowledge the fear, the self-doubt, and the shame. Practicing mindfulness can be an effective tool for this. Mindfulness allows us to observe our emotions without judgment. By sitting with our feelings, we can start to understand their origins and impacts on our behavior. Take a moment to think about how your emotions affect your productivity. Reflect on whether fear of failure leads you to delay important tasks, or if perfectionism holds you back from starting at all. These emotional insights can create a pathway to action. For James, the journey was learning to meditate and recognize when his fear was surfacing, allowing him to address it rather than ignore it. Additionally, transforming your inner dialogue is crucial. Are you your own worst critic? Many of us engage in negative self-talk that reinforces our emotional resistance. Shifting this narrative to one of encouragement can be life-changing. When you replace thoughts like, "I can't do this," with "I will do my best," you open the door to motivation. The emotional side of procrastination is not just about avoidance, it's about understanding your deeper feelings and how they influence your actions. By recognizing and addressing these emotions, you can begin to dismantle the powerful hold procrastination has over your life. So, as you continue your journey toward overcoming procrastination, remember to check in with your emotional state. What fears or doubts might be holding you back? Acknowledging these feelings is the first step toward harnessing your emotional strength to drive positive action. In a world filled with distractions and obligations, mastering the art of mindfulness can be a powerful antidote to procrastination. But what does it really mean to be mindful, and how can this practice help us take action instead of delaying? Mindfulness is essentially about being present in the moment, focusing on what you are doing right now, rather than getting lost in thoughts about the future or the past. According to psychology experts, mindfulness can rewire our brains, creating new neural pathways that help reduce stress and enhance focus. Research has shown that individuals who practice mindfulness regularly report lower levels of procrastination. In a study by Dr. David Creswell, participants who engaged in mindfulness meditation exhibited significantly less procrastination than those who did not. This discovering opens the door to exploring how mindfulness can break the cycle of avoidance that often leads to procrastination. Consider the story of Sarah, a college student who struggled with chronic procrastination. She often felt overwhelmed by her assignments and deadlines, which caused her to retreat into avoidance. After attending a mindfulness workshop, Sarah began practicing daily meditation. She learned to focus on her breath and bring her attention back when her mind wandered. Over time, Sarah noticed that her anxiety about her tasks diminished, and she felt more equipped to handle her workload. But how can you incorporate mindfulness into your day-to-day life, particularly when it comes to overcoming procrastination? Here are some practical techniques to get started. Mindful breathing. Take a few moments to focus solely on your breath. This simple practice can anchor you in the present and calm racing thoughts. Body scan. Practice a body scan meditation by mentally scanning your body for tension. Notice where you hold tension and consciously relax those areas. Set intentions. Before starting a task, take a moment to set a clear intention for what you want to achieve. This could be as simple as "I'll write for 10 minutes, which breaks the task into manageable pieces and reduces the looming fear of the entire assignment. Mindful journaling. Use journaling as a mindfulness practice by reflecting on your thoughts and feelings related to procrastination. This can help clarify what's holding you back and how you can move forward. Implementing these techniques can pave the path toward transforming your relationship with procrastination. Instead of being driven by fear or anxiety, you can develop an awareness that allows you to approach tasks with a sense of calm and focus. As you embark on this mindfulness journey, keep in mind that consistency is key. The benefits of mindfulness build over time, so give yourself grace as you practice. You may be surprised at how quickly mindfulness can shift your perspective on work and productivity. Ultimately, harnessing mindfulness as a tool against procrastination can empower you to reclaim your time, focus, and energy. Are you ready to commit to being present in your tasks? By doing so, you'll unlock your potential to take meaningful action in your life. When we think about procrastination, we often focus on the external reasons why we delay tasks. However, a significant component lies within the emotional landscape of our minds. Procrastination is not just a mere failure to act, it's deeply intertwined with our emotional responses to tasks. Research has shown that people who procrastinate tend to experience higher levels of negative emotions such as anxiety, guilt, and fear. For instance, a study published in the journal Psychological Bulletin found that there is a strong correlation between procrastination and emotional distress. Those who delay tasks often report feeling overwhelmed and anxious, which only exacerbates the procrastination cycle. Consider the story of Sarah, a freelance graphic designer. Despite her talent, Sarah often found herself staring at a blank screen, paralyzed by the looming deadlines of her clients. The thought of not living up to their expectations filled her with dread. As a result, she would put off work until the last minute, leading to rushed projects and further anxiety. To tackle this emotional aspect of procrastination, it's essential to recognize the feelings that accompany your avoidance behavior. Acknowledging these emotions can be the first step toward change. For example, keeping a journal to document your emotions when procrastinating can help you pinpoint triggers that cause this behavior. Furthermore, strategies such as cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, can be beneficial. CBT allows individuals to restructure their negative thought patterns surrounding tasks. Instead of thinking, "I can't do this," they learn to replace that thought with, "I can take it step by step." In essence, understanding the emotional triggers behind procrastination can empower individuals to adopt healthier coping mechanisms. Just like Sarah, who began using mindfulness techniques to address her anxiety, anyone can learn to manage their emotions and overcome procrastination. By delving into how emotions drive procrastination, we can take actionable steps to mitigate their impact on our productivity. Our surroundings play a critical role in our productivity levels and, ultimately, in our tendency to procrastinate. The environment we create can either fuel our procrastination or help us overcome it.